hope everyone's day is off to a magical start. Welcome to Disney on a Dime, guys. Today we are continuing our little series of best and worst attractions over at the theme parks. Today we've made our way, kind of circle back over to the Disney theme parks, and we are over at Epcot today. So today, guys, we want to talk about our best and worst over at Epcot.
And Epcot, you know, is one of our, it's kind of hard for us to do Epcot because it is one of, I guess it is our favorite park.
Yeah, Epcot is, that's my heart park. You know, I love Epcot. That is where I go and find my center, my peace. Yeah. All right, so our first worst ride over at Epcot, guys, and we only have two. So the first one for me, and I think you would agree, is going to be Figment. Yeah, Figment.
Yeah.
I won't say that I just kind of detest or hate Figment, but I think Figment has kind of run its course.
Yeah, and the full name of the ride is Journey into the Imagination with Figment. We just call it Figment for short. Yeah. Even the name of the ride is too long.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those rides, you ride it because frankly there's never a line.
True.
It's easy to get a fast pass for it.
True.
It's very, on a hot day, it's cool.
And if you go during the winter months, we will be in Orlando during the winter months. We're going for Christmas. Yeah. And now listen, sometimes when you go to Orlando, the weather is amazing and you know, it's unseasonably warm. But we have gone during the times where it's pretty cold there. Yeah. And so Figment is a great ride to kind of take part of, or you know, be a part of when you're trying to steal away and get some heat. Yeah.
But as you said, that first of all, does anybody even know who Figment is as a character?
Who is he?
He's a very obscure dragon character, I think from the 80s or 90s.
A figment of your imagination.
I think they sell a couple of Figment stuffed animals in the park. You can get like a Figment t-shirt, but he's really obscure. So again, it's one of the few areas where I think a Disney character has kind of missed the mark and it's not really useful anymore.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Universe of Energy, or as we call it, the Ellen ride. Ellen DeGeneres is
or take a nap ride.
We call it the Ellen ride because Ellen DeGeneres is featured prominently at the beginning of the ride. But is it today's Ellen?
No, I don't think she would recognize herself if she went over to Epcot and stepped foot in there. She looks nothing like that now.
It's Ellen from the 90s.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
The ride itself is really neat. Like you said, it is a great ride to relax and kind of, I hate to say it, take a nap. Yeah. You know, it's very educational. It's a very educational ride. It's
typically not really crowded. No. You can go in and pretty much sit where you want to sit. You can take up a bench and really kind of stretch out if you want to. And I want to say it's almost 30 minutes long.
Yeah, so if you got babies that use the bathroom a lot, you can't, you know, and you got to change diapers constantly, or you got to use the bathroom. And they warn you before you get on the ride, but yeah. And it's a neat ride. You know, there's not a ride like it that I've ever been on because it's huge and it moves.
Yeah, it's like in a huge theater.
Yeah, it's like
and the entire room just moves.
But yeah, it's showing its age. I think we did a video on the D23 announcements, and I think they're either going to tear it down or they're going to retheme it as a Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the shirt I'm wearing, by the way, Guardians of the Galaxy ride. All right, so now let's talk about our favorite rides at Epcot, and we will start off with what a lot of people actually don't know is a ride, and that is Spaceship Earth.
We love Spaceship Earth.
So for those of you that are Disney novices or have seen pictures of Disney or Epcot and have never been, the big golf ball at the entrance of the park, a lot of people don't notice that's a ride. It's called Spaceship Earth. What is the theming of Spaceship Earth? Well,
with Spaceship Earth, you kind of start at the beginning of time, and then you go through the period starting with, you know, the caveman, right? Yeah. And then you just work your way around through history until you end up at present day. But Eric, for those of our subscribers or, you know, viewers that are just stopping in today, shall we tell them the story of where we had gone and you and Chase left me on the ride?
Here we go with that
I fell asleep on the ride, guys.
We got off. She was in the seat behind us. I didn't know she was asleep. We left her on the ride. It started to go backward.
Guys, when you go to Disney or Orlando and during the warmer months, that heat will beat you down. And when you get on a ride that's nice and cool, you kind of really get relaxed. And for me, that is a really relaxing ride. And I found myself asleep on the ride, only to find someone saying, ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. I thought I was dreaming. I woke up, the entire ride had stopped. Everyone in front of me was gone. And the people behind me, I heard them saying, what is she doing? What is she doing?
You shouldn't fall asleep on rides.
I didn't try to do that. But anyway, the moral of the story is, people, look for your family members before exiting the rides, okay? Make sure everyone is awake.
Keep track of your children and your spouses. I didn't know you had to keep track of your spouse. The next favorite ride is also semi-educational. We'll talk about the educational theme here in a minute. Living with the Land.
I love it. Another great ride. Another great ride. I have to say, I love when the ride initially starts and you kind of go through and get some history of where the plants and the type of farming and everything comes from.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with Living with the Land, it's an agricultural themed ride where you kind of go on a journey through a greenhouse.
Yeah. But I love it when the doors open, and it's, especially during the summer months, and it's just really light and bright, and they're using sand for the soil. Everything is just so beautiful. So many exotic plants, and a lot of times, let's say if you go during the fall, they'll have pumpkins, you know, Mickey pumpkins. You know, it's just really, really nice. I love that ride. And
they do offer a behind the scenes tour.
Yep.
So as I mentioned, the ride goes through a greenhouse, but you can actually take a kind of a backlot tour through the greenhouse. We've done it once. I would definitely recommend it, especially when the park is crowded. You can sign up beforehand, but a lot of times they'll have empty slots just during the day. And it's not super expensive. I don't remember exactly what it costs, but it's not anything that's really expensive. And I'm sorry,
I want to say it was less than 20 bucks each.
Yeah. And you'll notice, you know, we talked about Living with the Land, we talked about Spaceship Earth. Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. So it was founded, the vision of it when Walt Disney thought about it was he wanted more of an educational kind of futuristic type park to really educate and inspire guests. So a lot of the rides are kind of, you like this, kind of inspiring and educational, but they do have a couple of thrill rides. One of them is Test Track. How do you feel about Test Track?
You know, we have a love-hate relationship here with Test Track. When Test Track is up and running, it is a great ride. A very thrilling ride. But, you know, on any given hour of the park being open, it could be down.
We've had to walk off of Test Track a few times, like literally in the middle of the ride, they have to escort us off because
it just broke down.
It is also a ride, if you ever go to Epcot, there are two things you absolutely want to get a fast pass for way in advance. Test Track and Soaring.
Absolutely.
Those two, you want to get that fast pass as soon as possible because Test Track will fill up quickly and so on. And finally, guys, you know, at Epcot, again, was built to be really educational and eye-opening and inspiring. Half of the park is kind of the rides and the future world. The other half is the World Showcase. Which is really, it's a series of pavilions for different countries where they have architecture and gift shops and rides and food. So there's Mexico, Norway, China. My favorite pavilion happens to be what? So the thing with Epcot is one of these parks where you can really stop and smell the roses. Take your time at Epcot, walk through the countries, check out the different festivals, the Flower and Garden Festival, the Food and Wine Festival. It really is, of all the theme parks in Orlando, it's the most parkish, if I can use that word, of the theme parks, where you really treat it like a park.
Speaking of Food and Wine Festival, will we be there for Food and Wine Festival?
So guys, we're planning our fall trip. So we are going to be returning to the theme parks here shortly. So you'll get another background besides our house. We'll still be back in Orlando. We're working on dates now because our son has just started school like a lot of you guys, so we got to work with his school schedule, but be on the lookout. We're going to be in the parks hopefully sometime in September here.
Well, that is it, guys. We hope that you have enjoyed this video. As Eric said, we will be in Orlando in September. Please, if you see us in any of the Disney theme parks, Universal theme parks, please stop and say hello. And so with that, guys, we hope that you have found this video to be very helpful, extremely informative. And so until next time, guys, don't forget to make every day magical. Bye, guys.